I mean, not that it would have killed us, but I hated dog odds. I really hated it. I think if they toned it down, to only be used for like key abilities, it wouldn't have been too bad. It would have just been Kaiten. Huh? Yeah? Kaiten, perfectly fine ability. Basically just dog odds, but you don't use it all the time. You only use it with a specific ability, but it's fun. It feels satisfying, and what do? They just take it out. Exactly. Shoha 2 is like, I've barely used Shoha 2 at all. It's just sitting here. I don't like the PvP rotations. If they ever did that to any of the jobs, I would honestly probably just stop raiding altogether. Like that, unless they like replaced it. Basically, I don't want them to trim down a shit ton of the jobs for the sake of simplifying things. It's just not going to be very satisfying. I don't like one button rotations where you're just sitting there going through the whole combo. Guild Wars 2 does something like that, and something I always struggle to like actually know where I am in the combo because I'm just sitting there pressing 1. You know? Like, usually, if you look at me when I'm playing, I'm pressing the next button a lot. So it's not like I'm just pressing 1, like 1, sitting there, 2, sitting there, 3. It's not like I'm doing that. You know, I'm sitting here spamming the shit out of the next button. So if you remove the actual combos and only put it on 1, I'm just mashing the same button. It's boring. I don't think they have to add any more buttons. What we have is fine. If you want to trim down some unnecessary things, you can do that without gutting the actual combos. Okay? Again, things like Shoha 2, things like this, like AoE versions of a single target move, we don't really need that. We don't really need that. So take them away if you need to. That's fine. You know, I mean, I like Hisatsu Sene, and if I had to choose between these two, I would personally prefer to keep Sene, well, at least the animation, because it just looks really cool. But if push came to shove, I would rather lose these, like Shoha 2 and Sene or whatever, than losing the core combos, and especially losing something as core to the samurai rotation as Kaiten. Okay, like Kaiten is a move that literally, like, removing this single button is not just removing a button. It's like it's removing an entire mechanic from samurai. It's removing the entire reason for Kenki management. Now, after they remove this, you will never, ever need to worry about Kenki management ever again. And that's one of the things that I liked about samurai. Yeah, speaking of ninja, they basically just turned it into Ninki. Because, ninja has a similar thing where it's like, they don't really have to manage this. It's just like, okay, do I have the meter? Yes. Boom, press it. You know, that's it. Just press it. Do you have it? Press it. That's it. Right? Oh, I have it? Okay, press it. I'll have to think about it. Now, I think it's fine for ninja, because ninja also has, you know, they have ninjutsu. You have to, like, memorize all of these things and do all this shit. It's fun. It's still fun. Despite having a really basic pump and dump meter. But samurai does not have all of that stuff that ninja has. Samurai does not have the ninjutsus. For samurai, it was mostly about the Kenki management, and I guess like making sure that you can do your EI jutsu safely since you don't have any kind of swift cast. That's about it. I don't know if they're deliberately making the classes easier. I don't really know what their thinking is. They said that the specific words that they used for their decision on this was they're trying to reduce action bloat. Some people have said that it's it's the same as button bloat, so they want less buttons on your hotbar. Others have said that action bloat is like, I guess, APM. Like, they don't want you... Like, right now, if you look at my actual rotation, I'm, like, doing all of this. I mean, it's not much now, and then I get to the EI Jutsu, I do that, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Then we go into this again, that's a GCD. Oh, GCD, there you go. Boom. And then you do it again. So I think they just want to reduce the amount of times, the amount of, like, buttons that you're pressing in between GCDs. Maybe, I think that's the other argument. Right? So you don't have to weave as much. But the weaving is what makes the fucking class fun. The weaving is what makes the entire game fun. And it's not like it's much weaving. It's not like it's particularly difficult. You know, it's not like you're trying to triple weave. You don't even need to double weave. It's fine. So that reason is bullshit. So, man, the more I think about it, honestly, this Kaiten change, I would normally be super excited for you know, the next big content patch, but the Kaiten change really knocked the wind out of my sails. I'm still looking forward to 6.1, but this shit sucks. This sucks ass. I don't like it at all. I really hope they revert it, because, oh man, why remove this? Just remove Shoha 2. If it's button bloat, remove Shoha 2. If it's action bloat, that's not even an issue. And this is in the same patch that we're getting guaranteed crits on Midare. I know that there are some, you know, like the hardcore past lords that don't like that because it doesn't synergize with, you know, the crit buffs anymore. I don't really give a shit about that, if I'm being honest. I'm not a hardcore past lord. I kind of like passing a little bit, but at the end of the day, I don't really care that much. I like seeing big number, and crit equaled big number. Okay, guaranteed crit on Midare is something that I've wanted for a while. But I wanted it with the context of using Kaiten. I was hoping that Kaiten would get the added trait that it guarantees the next weapon skill is a crit. That's what I wanted. I never thought remove Kaiten, guarantee crit. It's like I fucking made a wish on a monkey's paw or something. This literally feels like some monkey paw shit. Like, dude, I would give it up. I would give away the guaranteed crit if it meant keeping Kaiten. Look, I say I kind of like pausing, but I really like uptime, alright? I really like uptime, okay? Uptime is, creme de la creme. #1 priority. Pausing, it's cool. Least favorite part about losing Kaiten is the pose. I know, that sucks too. Honestly, doing Kaiten is so, it's borderline ritualistic for samurai. Okay? If you play samurai, you know that shit is like a ritual for us at this point. You get your sen, you do your Kaiten, then you do your Midare. The next thing, this is also the same expansion that we lost Hisatsu Seigen. Have I ever ranted about that? I love Hisatsu Seigen. That shit made Third Eye so satisfying. And it was another aspect of the Kenki management that we lost, you know? I really, really loved, like, that, the whole flavor of Seigen was you know, it being a counter attack. It felt so satisfying. Ain't nobody care about Merciful Eyes. Nobody gives a shit about Merciful Eyes. That shit, I mean, unless you were doing Deep Dungeon. That was like one of your only heals in Deep Dungeon. But in actual content, nobody get Merciful Eyes. Toss that shit. I'm fine with that. But Seigen was so good. It felt so satisfying. Look, dude, Merciful Eyes had one single recorded useful use in Stormblood. All right, one single useful use in recorded history in Stormblood. Back when it reduced Kenki. This is back before they changed the tank stance stuff to basically be brain dead. When tanks actually had to actually manage their enmity. There was one time I was doing 012 normal, and the tank was about to lose aggro to me. Because this was when I was learning how to actually do my rotation properly. So I was doing my damage right. And obviously DPS back then, we were getting close to taking aggro from the tanks if they weren't in tank stance. My diversion was not up yet. It was almost up, but not quite, and I was about to steal aggro. But I had Merciful Eyes, and I used Merciful Eyes instead of Stagen, and it probably saved my life, because the Tank Buster was next, and I still very nearly stole aggro. So, that was the one time in recorded history, the only time, that Merciful Eyes was ever useful. I'm sorry to break it to you. I can barely tell if I use Third Eye properly now. Yeah, you have to like deliberately be looking at the Kenki meter to see if you used it correctly, and it's just not as satisfying. So for Endwalker, this whole expansion, from what I've seen, obviously this is not talking about the story or anything, which has been phenomenal, right? I'm talking purely about what I have seen as a samurai main and the gameplay of my favorite job that I signed up to this game for. It has literally just gotten worse. It has actually gotten worse the entire, like, not worse in terms of numbers. It doesn't really matter. Like, this game is usually pretty good with keeping everything balanced, so that everything is viable, which is good. It's one of the best things about this game. You can legitimately play whatever you want. But as far as the fun factor of my favorite job, it does feel like it has gotten progressively less fun. Like, they are removing the cool things. And it's like, dude, why? You could have left Shoha 2 on the table. Or like, just upgrade Shoha into Shoha 2. And nobody would have complained. Would have had no issues. No issues. Just leave Sagan on there. But no, you removed Sagan for Shoha 2. We did get Ogina Mikiri. This move fucks. Alright, this move is amazing. I love this move. But this ass week 1 dancer was a grief pick. Honestly, I don't really count the expansion launch balance. The expansion launch balance is almost always wonky. Samurai was kind of shit as well, in terms of numbers. We were still viable, right? But we were pointless. Like, there was no reason to pick us because we still bring no utility to the group, and we weren't doing as much damage as I think Reaper and Monk. So we just kind of sucked. And then we got buffed, and then that was fine. I thought after we got our last buffs, I thought, okay, we're good. I can play this for the rest of the expansion. You don't have to touch it. Guru and Insanity together, Shoha and Shoha 2 together. Yep. Okay, Ikishoten and Ogi as well. I've heard that argument as well, because I think they do something similar with Paladin, right? So Paladin, as Requiescat, you do that, you do your whole magic combo, boom, 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 and then let's pretend I did all of them, and then you do Confidio, and then it goes right into the next bit. You do your new moves. You just keep pressing the same button. Now this does fall into the same the thing of one button combos that I was complaining about earlier, where it's hard for me to actually keep track of where I am in the combo. But if it's just for like one move, okay, fine, whatever. I can deal with that if the move is really cool. I didn't plan on ranting today.